What's up, guys? This is Nick from Arch City Poker, and in today's video, going to be continuing the How to Beat Live Low Stakes Poker series with today's topic covering handling tough spots. So, this will not be a long video. The reason this topic has come up is that some of my students have ended up in some tough spots recently where I think they haven't been as confident in their ability to range their opponents because their opponents are showing up with combos that they never thought were in their range, or combos that shouldn't be in their opponent's range. And I think a few of my students think that they've thought that they've been ranging opponents in a flawed manner or like in an inaccurate way. I think they're doing just fine. I think that sometimes in live low stakes games, players show up with really weird combos that they played incorrectly or they played weird on purpose. If you guys end up in any tough spots, the best piece of advice I can give you is don't overestimate your ability to range opponents very specifically if you don't know your opponent that well. If you have reads in history with a regular that you've played with for a very long time and you know their tendencies in that spot, you can make a very specific read and take a line based on that, then go for that and do that. That's the whole point of poker, is you develop reads and you adjust your strategies based on your opponent's tendencies. Now, especially in live low stakes games, we're not even getting into a GTO sense where you need to play like in an unexploitable manner. But anyway, so if you don't know your opponent that well though, and you end up in a tough spot and you're kind of unsure if you range them correctly or you're not sure what to do, what I suggest to my students is think about what players on average in the player pool would do in that spot and go from there. And to be honest, as soon as I started implementing that into my game, probably within the last half year or so to the last year, my personal win rates in all games that I play in have gone up, and I found it's almost like an aha moment for me where I consider myself a very, very good hand reader, and that always came very naturally to me. And the more I studied ranges, the more I really focused on the regulars in my player pool. Yes, I have some very specific lines that I take against them. I get creative with them. I understand their tendencies, but I've been thinking to myself, especially recently, don't overestimate your ability to specifically range this opponent and just, play solid. Think about what the average player from the pool would do in this spot if I end up in a spot that happens to be a little bit tougher. Now, avoiding tough spots altogether is something that very good players do, so I don't end up in really many tough spots at all. But if I do, and I'm not exactly sure what types of hands specifically this opponent shows up with, if I don't think I can narrow it down very confidently, then I think I like to go based on what a player would do on average. And that usually tends to work out. And there are spots where all the players in your pool will do things almost the same on average. For example, if your opponent raises you on the river, that's usually super value heavy. That's a very common spot. They're not bluffing enough. Actually, excuse me, guys, on the turn and river usually. But yeah, on the river, that's a very common spot. Another common spot is if they limp call preflop, you can pretty much take out the top of their range. Like, premium pocket pairs, big aces, suited Broadway cards, those usually are not going to be in their range on average. So you can take that and go from there and not try to waste so much mental energy specifically trying to narrow down ranges of opponents that you know nothing about. So yeah, take that advice. Hopefully that works out for you guys. If you have any questions or comments on this topic, let me know. Until next time, this is Nick from Arch City Poker. Take care.